Previously on The Lost Art.
Well, then we're agreed. The cavern and surrounding land will be granted to UNESCO to be preserved as a World Heritage Site.
We need to remove any reference to actual linking books, the Barrow and other worlds if the archives are to be open to the public.
Zarek has an idea of a cover story we might use. There's a young cultural anthropologist at Arizona State.
Morgan Lapahi.
And how exactly are you planning to persuade her?
We were thinking of making her a UNESCO fellow and sponsoring her research.
She already has links with the UN.
And I have it on good authority that she's friendly with the UN procurement officer in Geneva, one Lucas Gruber.
Colonel Manuel Gomez, Eddie Air Force Base Intelligence Officer.
You must be the representatives from UNESCO.
Beatrice Lang.
Begin encrypted communication. From Brigadier General Manuel Gomez to Beatrice Lang, UNESCO Special Projects. I couldn't mention this in our meeting because, well, you know why. I've got this physicist working with us, and he told one of my officers about some research that strongly suggests the existence of parallel universes. They want to go down to the cavern and see if they can find anything useful. We've got to act now, Betty. Time is running out. No one wants to say it, but evacuation might be our only hope. I know it's a crackpot idea, but could you please see if the UN will support such a project? Oh, and you better send us one of your operatives. P.S. I'm told that anthropologist you've been sponsoring has been spending a lot of time in the archives. She could prove useful.
Zarek.
Hello, Morgan. Interesting architectural style, don't you think?
You've been here before?
I was here in 2025 when the DRC granted the archives to UNESCO. They built it to represent an office in the cavern. These images were taken by explorers and members of the DRC. They're from all over Danny. These are just replicas as well. We've got... all the originals are in the UNESCO Special Projects vault.
So why did you want to meet? You're not checking up on me, are you?
Remember the lost art of the Danny that you swore was metaphorical?
What do you mean, swore?
Don't get me wrong, I really like the comparison. The various human rituals to conjure mythical landscapes, the Danny creating worlds.
Zarek, you're sounding like you no longer support my thesis. The very thesis, may I remind you, that inspired you and Beatrice to send me all over the world.
Did you know it was during the Kennedy era that the CIA coined the term plausible deniability?
Zarek?
I think you're going to be quite excited when I tell you. What would you say if I were to tell you that linking books actually exist?
I wouldn't believe you.
Well, let's put it this way. How would you like to see Danny for yourself? So, while you're thinking about that...
Lucas?
And while you two talk about old times, I'm going to see where the others are.
Sag mir, dass du das nicht gewusst hast.
Dass ich was nicht gewusst habe?
About the linking books. He claims they actually exist.
No, of course I didn't know. Oh dear, I suppose...
bet I'm angry. Why would they?
Morgan, so how did you take the news?
I gather you and the Colonel know each other.
We've had some cracking conversations with Professor Lapahi in that diner down the road.
Well, that new theory doesn't sound so crazy now, does it?
She didn't know.
No thanks to you.
I don't think we've met.
Lucas is the UN procurement officer for this project.
Lucas Gruber.
Gabe Collins. I guess I'll be in charge of seeing that none of you fall down any crevices.
Or get lost in some alternate universe. Alex Young. I've been working with Colonel Collins on some stealth cloaking technology.
Oh yes, give government secrets away.
Actually, everything you say and do from this point forward is classified.
Told most of you, a few days ago a forward team of engineer and communications personnel put down cable and mapped out a route to the city. They're down there now performing safety checks. They're all dressed in bright orange jackets, so if you see anything that looks unsafe, just signal one of the oranges. Lucas and Zarek, I don't think you've met Lieutenant Henry Culver from Red Horse. Red Horse is the Air Force engineering unit that specializes in tricky situations. Henry's just back from Turkey, where his unit was rebuilding a couple of runways following the latest earthquakes. He managed to bring back some tremor sensors that we'll find really useful in the cavern.
They're already down there, Colonel. If any activity is detected, the nearest unit will send an alert to everyone's wrist device. So, if you hear this, get somewhere safe.
The wrist devices also have locators on them, so we should be able to track each other.
Sorry to interrupt, Colonel, but just remember, that will only work when we are in the same reality.
That really calls for a joke, but good point. And since we're heading underground, the engineers have left some hard hats for us at the entrance to the tunnels. In regards to any books we find, we should... Morgan?
Doesn't Mr. Know-It-All know where the books are?
Do you want to answer that?
According to the DRC, some of the books were left in places like the museum and the library, but others were hidden. The short answer is nobody is certain.
Getting back to the subject of safety, the only alien creatures you might encounter down there are the Barrow. Thanks to Zarek, you should have access to some images on your wrist devices. But the latest intel suggests the Barrow abandoned the cavern years ago.
Zandy told us that the Barrow usually aren't a threat.
And I can confirm that there have been no recent sightings, at least according to the security team that went down with the engineers.
They're wearing blue uniforms. Security officers, I mean.
Quite the color-coded bunch, the military. So I take it we're wearing green because...
Because you are green?
Getting back on topic... Where was I?
Security.
Ah yes, in the off chance we do encounter any aliens, the UN was quite clear that they didn't want us to provoke any incidents. So military personnel are only carrying small sidearms. But everyone has these stunners. Basically, it's point and squeeze. There are only two settings. The default delivers a sharp jolt, and the higher setting will incapacitate the target. In other words...
Colonel?
You didn't have to shoot him?
Of course I wasn't going to shoot him, but my point is that these stunners are for defensive purposes only. Stun and get the hell out of there, and only resort to incapacitate if absolutely necessary. As you all know, this venture is only possible because we aren't mounting a massive expedition. We can always send for more security personnel if necessary, but let's try not to start anything. Let's not forget what's at stake here, people. I think it was an anthropologist who once said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world."
Well said.
Although if they knew what we were doing, the world might decide to have us all committed.
Well then, onwards and upwards, and then down, left, down, right, down.
So, how was Turkey?
Pretty grim. You remember those photos I showed you from our last mission?
China, wasn't it? Those villages that got swallowed in a landslide?
China was a paradise compared to Turkey, but at least the runways are back in operation and the relief teams are landing again.
Irgendwann wirst du ihm wohl verzeihen müssen.
Da würde ich nicht drauf wetten.
Man, she's still really pissed at you.
Shara.
Katya?
Who is this?
What are you? Katya Linchek. She works for General Gomez. Katya, you can't be here.
I've been down there before. Have you?
Katya?
You know each other?
She didn't say anything, if that's what you're wondering. I overheard one of the general's conversations.
Morgan, there's something here you should see.
Do you see that figure, Lucas? The one that looks like it has an eye above the head? Maybe it's some kind of visionary?
Better take pictures.
Good idea. We should get all of them. They may turn out to be useful.
It's a security thing.
I know the language. Me some dunny?
Now that has to be useful, Colonel.
Whom are you calling?
The General. I've got Katya here, sir. She's demanding...
Colonel, remind him of that favor he owes me.
She claims... Seriously?
That must be some favor.
Are you coming?
Wait a second. Look at those figures.
You mean the Barrow?
I was going to say that they look just like Kokopelli.
Coca who?
Kokopelli was the humpbacked flute player. Makes you think.
About?
I'm just wondering. Maybe Kokopelli isn't a myth, but a memory. If so, that means that we've actually had aliens on our planet?
Oh, lovely.
If those linking books actually work, well, that's a hands-on application of the Adiaverse theory. Literally. I can't believe some cave dwellers. Oh boy, that's like triple Nobel Prize material.
It's just a bat, Alex. It won't hurt you.
I'm not afraid of it. It just took me by surprise.
I don't think we've met.
Lucas Gruber. I work for the UN. I think I saw you on the base. You work in the General's office, correct?
Katya Linchek. This may sound stupid.
Stupid is fine.
Okay, what exactly are we doing?
I guess you never got the Mission to Save the Earth memo?
Global tremors and tsunamis? You really think there's something in Dunny that's going to help?
Problem?
The forward team has established a base camp on the main island. So, I'd say we're good to go, Colonel.
Listen up, people. The engineers say things are looking good. I know the hard hats can get uncomfortable, but we'll let you know when you can take them off. What? Do you think I need to be more specific?
I'm just wondering how we'll know when it's safe.
We'll know it's safe when the ceiling doesn't fall down on our heads.
It's a good thing none of us suffer from vertigo.
can't sleep either. This has to be one of those machines that dispensed the communicators.
Yes, the keys.
Because they opened other words.
Not that kind of key. Think of the capital letters K and I. That's what the Dunny number 3 looks like. The DRC just called them that.
What were they used for?
A bit like our modern wrist devices, actually. I think it's 3 because keys have 3 main functions. Unfortunately, the ability to pass on trap alerts wasn't one of them.
Gotcha.
A friend of mine. I'm just thinking how useful something like that might have been.
We'd better try to get some rest. Grape will have us moving soon enough.
Imagining what it would be like. I'm still not entirely sure I believe it. I've seen countless people link and return Morgan. So what does it feel like? Promise you won't tell. You've never linked, have you? My parents never believed it was safe.
Okay, people, let's get the show on the road.
I think we need to get moving again. We are only a third of the way there.
I figure about halfway there.
Less than that, Colonel.
Don't look at me. I'm not the one who's been down here before. What does it say?
Rapats.
Meaning?
To the city.
If the map is right, this is it.
Wait a second, Zarek. Katya, why don't you go first? Welcome back.
I bet you're glad you're here.
pleased that these lights still work.
You have no idea.
He's just joking. Henry knows that a prospector found a handful of these light sources, and we studied them in the lab.
Fire marbles. That's what they're called.
Yes, they use some kind of weak gamma radioisotope with a very long half-life. Luminescent paint on the inside turns the radiation into visible light or heat. Don't worry, we are quite safe. It works somewhat like a fluorescent light bulb.
If you say so.
I know there's much to explore, but let's not forget our standing orders. We're here to look for linking books, particularly descriptive books. Anything that might prove useful.
There's so much we could do with the Dani art of writing.
For a start, we could link to places abundant in the resources that are growing scarce on Earth.
Exactly. If you want to dump your packs and change into something warmer, they've set up headquarters for us in one of the neighborhoods here on the island. Listen, I don't think I have to tell you, but whatever you do, don't touch anything that looks like those linking panels Zarek told us about. And since we don't have enough security personnel to go around, always stay in groups of 2 for safety. Alex and Morgan have found something. It's that way.
There you are.
Well, what have you found?
Doesn't this remind you of those paintings?